Thanks very much for that. Siberia. Good morning, Donna and Safari. Welcome on the Sunrise Safari. Always great to have you guys in the back of the vehicle with me. Donna and Safari speculate that possibly he's moving here because he's eaten all the aardvark in his old territory. Well, that is also an option. But generally, his old territory around Arethusa is more sort of those sandy soils. So there are generally more aardvark in those type of soils than we would get here on Djuma. But it is really interesting to see him this far into Mvula's territory. Oh, it's a tired kitty. Hi Lisa, welcome on the Sunrise Safari, Lisa. Lisa would like to know, at what age would Kunyuma and Quarantine start fighting for their own territories, and would they take the opportunity to take advantage of a male leopard that was dominant but was ill or injured? Most definitely, so they would definitely take advantage of that. More than likely, Quarantine Kunyuma will only start really fighting for territory. At the youngest I've heard of is 4, but that's very unusual, but normally about 5 or 6 that they'll really start putting pressure on another male leopard for territory. So they've still got a few years of wandering ahead of them. So awesome to be able to have found this guy this morning. A little bit disappointed it wasn't Kunyuma, but still amazing to be able to have tracked a male leopard on foot, and the first time I've ever tracked and found this particular leopard on foot. Morning, Dave from Toronto. Welcome on the Sunrise Safari, Dave. Dave's asking a more general question, but I'm going to focus it a little bit more on leopards. What is the strangest some of the strangest behavior of animals in this area? Mating rituals, predator evasion, and all sorts of things like that. So, Dave, we'll talk about leopards first, as sitting right next to one. So one of the strangest leopard behaviors I've ever witnessed was a young male leopard called Kunyuma. He stalked up to an adult buffalo bull, which is far out of his sort of range of food to being caught, and he had really had a full belly. He had a bushbuck kill stashed up in a tree, and this buffalo bull was sitting in a wallow, and he just snuck up to that buffalo and smacked it on the bum. And then when the buffalo chased him, he just jumped up the tree and sort of snarled down at the tree. And we must remember that all these animals have different personalities, like human goods. Some animals are more tolerant of vehicles around them, some aren't. Some are more shy and retiring, even though they've all grown up in the same area. So animal behavior can vary differently from animal to animal. Whereas it comes to leopards' mating rituals, the females actually initiate most of the mating, and they will often move well out of territory to mate with the male. and will mate with multiple males during false estrus and real estrus. And the reason they mate with multiple males, they'll mate with all males that possibly their cubs might come into contact with. And so all the guys running around think that they're the daddies, and that'll stop them killing those cubs. Because if a new male leopard had to come into an area and hadn't mated with the female, he would definitely kill the cubs. That causes the female to come into estrus within about 10 days, and so she would start mating again, and then the next litter would be sired by the new dominant male. And also, on leopard movements, just on a side note, it's probably why Shadow and Sindile, her 9-month-old cub, have been moving further and further into Karila's territory. Not so much that they're trying to take her territory, but more so that they're trying to avoid the Anderson male, who would definitely kill that young 9-month-old cub if given the opportunity. And Dave, I'll get back to some more strange animal behavior of the other animals a little bit later on the drive. Well, thanks very much for the information, MJ Bradley. MJ has sent through that Anderson male is about 7, so very much in his prime. Tingana is 9 and Mvula is 10. Thanks very much for that, MJ. Very interesting info. James and I both think that Mvula might be a little bit older than 10. He looks a little bit more battle-scarred, but we could be wrong, as I said. It's very difficult to know for sure. There's always a lot of theories about where leopards come from and who's related to who in the Sabi Sands, and sometimes there's great debate amongst the guides and trackers about where a leopard's from and how old he is. Hi, James on Twitter. James would like to know, is that normal, or does he look a little roughed up under his right ear? Just going to have a quick look, James, with my binoculars. Can we get any tighter there, Andrew? Tight as we can go. Okay, thanks. There we go. Well spotted, James. It is normal. It looks like he's scratched some ticks there, and those are the little blood spots there. So it is definitely normal. Where the ears start getting tatty, that's normally from biting flies. So that is quite a common occurrence as a leopard gets older. Hi, Angie from Ohio. Angie would like to know if Mvula gets pushed out of his territory by Tingana, would he try push another male, or is he too old? Angie, it very much depends. Unfortunately, we are not, I don't know which males to the north and to the east of him, whether it's a younger male or older male. It is possible that he would definitely try move into another male's territory if that option was open to him. But if he's surrounded by younger males, unfortunately that option's probably not open to him, and he would either have to physically fight one of the males to the north or the east, or Tingana. Now, this is always a big risk for a leopard, and quite often male leopards will try to avoid that at all costs. I've seen 2 big male leopards literally stand a meter from each other, scent marking and doing that wonderful sawing roar to try and avoid fighting. But if it does come to it, he will probably have to fight. And I think, personally, he doesn't stand a good chance against Tingana. I think Tingana is physically a bit bigger and also a bit younger, so has the upper hand. But it's very difficult for me to know what's happening further to the north and east. So who knows whether he'll push through and into another male's territory. If he loses the fight but survives it, he will then sort of become a nomadic male. He'll sneak around the edges of other leopards' territories, just trying to survive. And unfortunately, when male leopards get to the stage, it is quite sad, and they do start looking quite skinny and beaten up, and they take chances, and they do end up generally dying from the wounds that they get between this period, or being killed by another male leopard. So we broadcast live onto the internet on the National Geographic website. It's www.wildsafarilive.com.
So is this going out live?
Yes, we're live right now. Well, everyone who's staying at Vuyatilla says hello to everyone in the world who's watching a sleeping leopard at the moment.
So, sorry, do you just drive around all day, or
it's 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening.
It doesn't matter what you see, it's like not specific.
Not specific. The joys of being live.
Yeah.
So if there's no leopards, we've got to talk about chojos and plants and trees and grass and whatever we can find.
How long have you been doing this?
The holes on the side of your truck?
Those are a long story that we won't just go into just yet. What I can do is I can come round to the lodge and give you guys a better explanation when we're not live.
Okay, cool. That would be great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Morning, Edward. Welcome on the Sunrise Safari. Edward would like to know, is it regular for certain species to become, or certain predators to become specific, hunting specific species, or is this just Tingana's quirk? It depends again on the area. You must remember that a lot of animal behavior is area specific rather than species specific. So for example, lions in the Okavango Delta and the Chobe area will hunt elephants when there's not a lot of other game around. The lions in this area would very seldom do that. They specialize more in buffalo. So quite a lot of it depends on availability of prey species. And I think what happened with Tingana, he just happened to be in an area that has a very high density of aardvark and figured out that they weren't the hardest things in the world to catch, even though they can actually move quite quickly, except for the aardvark that sits on the back of my vehicle. He's a bit slow. But I think it is a learned behavior. A lot of your predators can learn and will learn behavior. So I've seen lions that specialize in digging warthogs out of their holes, but that's only in very soft, sandy soils. So in areas where you've got more clay, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't be able to. Oh, look behind the leopard. Oh, unfortunately, what was behind the leopard disappeared. It was a little eastern bearded scrub robin, a very pretty bird. But while he's sleeping, we're going to hang around here for a little bit to make sure he doesn't move again, or maybe possibly go for a drink. We're going to go back to Commander Bond and see what he's been up to for the last little while, and we'll be back with you a little later in the show.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Giga. We were just sort of bumbling about the wilderness until about 2 minutes ago, and we had some lion tracks just further back on the road there. They have now disappeared, so we're going to see if we can't just pick them up and see where they're going. Literally in the last 3 minutes we found them. So we're near Gowrie Dam. I'm assuming if they'd come down there, one of our zoomies would have immediately alerted us to their presence. But we're just going to do a little turn around there and then go back towards where we saw the tracks and see if we can't pick up on them. Looked like at least one male and perhaps a female or two. Difficult to say who they would have been with those numbers. but maybe we will be lucky. So we'll have a quick look at the waterhole and then go back that way. They're definitely not on the road here at the moment. Hello, PK from Iowa. An interesting question. Have I ever seen a sleeping cat dreaming? I'm assuming you mean like when you're... What do you got? Squirrel. Okay, we're just going to look at a squirrel here while we just listen for a couple of alarm calls maybe and see if those lions aren't around. PK, like you mean when a pet sort of does its thing when they kick, and you often imagine that a dog is chasing something in a dream. I don't think I've seen a cat do it, actually. I don't think I've seen a leopard doing the same sort of thing, or an elephant or a lion doing the same sort of thing. But I'm sure it's possible that they could. I've never seen it myself that I can remember. And there goes the squirrel. Right, so there's nothing going on here at the waterhole. So we're going to go to the edge of the wall, turn around, come back, and just drive around this general area. I don't think those tracks look particularly fresh, but I do know that that's where we drove last night when we were looking for the leopard. So there must be some time around then. So we'll do a loop around the block rather than trying to bash through after them and see what we can come up with. Nothing alarm calling at the moment. I've so often heard things alarm calling and failed to find whatever they were shouting at. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can get the dead tree above this black monkey thorn. There are some green pigeons. Beautiful in the light there. Say when?
When?
That is the African green pigeon. Beautiful bird. And they struggle this time of year because there's not much in the way of fruit to eat. Where my parents lived down in the Eastern Cape, they have a guava tree that absolutely floods with these things around this time of the year. Beautiful call. A sort of liquid, peaceful call. And I'm not sure how good the color is on whatever computer screen you happen to be looking at, but the color on those birds is spectacular. Not quite parrot green, but very beautiful. Peaceful little scene. Oh, and there's a saddle-billed stork there, Viam, just way off to the right-hand side. Highly endangered stork. And if you were watching last week, you would have seen Andrew's magnificent camera work as he panned that stork, probably that very animal, flew through the setting sun and settled at this dam. Normally in pairs, and I know that this one is a pair, or part of a pair. Individual can't really be a pair, I suppose. So I don't know where its girlfriend or boyfriend is. Trying to see if that's the male or the female. You can tell from the eye that's the male. The female has got a sort of yellow eyeshadow all the way around her eye. All right, before it gets too warm, we're going to move along, just do a sort of U-turn and then come back over the dam wall. There is somebody behind us, so we'll wait for them to go past, and then we'll go and see if we can't find where those lion tracks end. They will, of course, end in a lion. Whether we'll be able to find that end or not is another matter.